What's good, everyone? It's Steve from Sneaker Tech Talk, back with another video today. For today's video, we will be taking a look at the Air Max 95 in the Fireberry colorway. These are the Big Bubble OG Retro. So without further ado, let's take a look at the shoes. All right, so getting into this shoe. Now, these released on the Nike Sneakers app here in Canada, which is the same as the Europe Nike Sneakers app. Now, I am still a little bit unsure about the shoe if I want to keep it. I do love the materials, the colorway. I didn't know that the midsole is kind of like a brown, but it is. But nonetheless, it is a very good looking shoe. As you can see right here, you kind of have that Fireberry colorway all over. It's kind of like a pinkish purple. Really quickly, the box is a pretty big letdown. We're getting a Nike sportswear box. I would have preferred the OG style box, but the box label does read Nike Air Max 95 OG in Fireberry/Fireberry. I did get these in a US size 11 inside the box. There's really nothing going on. You do get some brown laces, and then you get this little tag right here that says color migration. Due to the natural materials used in this product, color migration may happen. So keep that in mind. The box is a huge letdown, but the shoes are definitely a gorgeous retro of the Air Max 95. Now, getting into this shoe right off the bat, as far as the outsole goes, you get a typical Air Max 95 outsole with that waffle-inspired outsole here in the forefoot, and then the heel is just your standard Air Max 95 outsole, as you always have come to know and love. You do have this plastic TPU shank plate right here in pink, and then it kind of has these brown lines going throughout. Now, moving your way up to the midsole, you do have this kind of like Phylon midsole as always that you get, and you do have the bigger bubble at the back. This is a Big Bubble Retro, so that is a really good look on these guys right here. In photos, these didn't look like a brown midsole. It looked like a black midsole, so that's what's kind of throwing me off with this pink colorway. The swoosh does look black, but the midsole does look brown. So we'll see what I do with these, if I keep them or not, but they are currently sold out on the Nike Sneakers app here in Canada. As far as the upper goes with this shoe, you are getting a suede panel at the bottom, and then kind of like a canvas panel right above that, another suede panel, and then another canvas panel right here. And then I'm not really sure what this material is at the top, but it's a bunch of premium materials nonetheless. The toe cap is a nice suede material. Instead of the 3M running down the tongue, you get a suede, but on the back you do get a 3M hit with the Nike Air at the top. At the top of the tongue, you do have that iconic Air Max 95 logo. The liner of this shoe is a pink or Fireberry as well. You don't have any mesh. It's just more of that kind of like canvas material wrapping all the way around the eyelets. So this is more of a premium upper on this. You know, with your standard Air Max 95, it's more of like that felt or a nubuck material. With these, the materials are a lot thicker. These just feel a lot more substantial in hand compared to the standard OG Big Bubble Retro. The laces are even kind of like a waxy kind of like lace on these guys right here. They're a bit thicker than your standard white lace with the kind of 3M hits running throughout. On the insole, you do get your standard Ortholite insole on these guys right here, and it is kind of a black and pink insole with some spiral pink kind of lines running throughout. So overall, this is a pretty nice looking shoe. On feet, they look fantastic. I'm just kind of thrown off by the midsole colorway, and sound off in the comments what you guys think of this shoe. Now, as far as the history with the Air Max 95, if you didn't know, this shoe was designed by Sergio Lozano back in the day, and he kind of was inspired by the human anatomy with the rib cage on the side of the shoe, the spine at the back, which usually has 3M. This one does as well. So he was inspired by the human anatomy with this model right here. Now, something really cool and different with the Air Max 95 is it was one of, if not the first Nike running shoes to implement a black midsole. As you know, with all of the Gradient pairs, it does have a black midsole. And that was to kind of hide the dirt in Portland, Oregon. When you go for a run, the shoe was a running shoe back in the day. He wanted to hide the dirt that kind of shows face on the white midsole with a darker midsole. And that was met with a lot of like Nike folks at the brand not sure, not really caring for the black midsole. But here we are all these years later. You can basically put any color palette on the Gradient pair and it does fantastic. So Sergio Lozano was definitely ahead of his time with the midsole being a darker color. Now, as far as the size goes on the Air Max 95s, if you get anything before the Big Bubble Retro releases, they fit half a size small. I always still go with my size 11, but they're very snug. They're very narrow here in the toe box, as you can see right here. So keep that in mind. With the Big Bubble Retros, the toe is a bit more bulbous, as you can see right here, a bit more tall and wide here in the forefoot. So I do feel they fit a little bit more true to size, but honestly, they're still a little bit snug on foot. If you can try on a Big Bubble in a different colorway in a store to see how they fit, and then if you want to order a pair online in a specific colorway, I would recommend doing that. But for me, I go with my true to size 11, which I am in all of my Air Max shoes across the board, and it's no different in these guys right here. So sound off in the comments what you guys think of the Air Max 95. It's quickly growing to be my favorite Air Max of all time. I would still say the Air Max 90 is my favorite, but the 95 has really crept from second to first place, like tied first place with the Air Max 90s. I thought these were pretty cool online and they're very cool in hand. For you guys, would you pick these up? I believe the retail price point was $200 on these, $260 here in Canada. So the price of these guys right here with the premium materials were a bit more, but as you can see in person, I wouldn't say the price is justified because I do find the 95 to be very expensive, especially considering that back in the day, these were called 110s. They were $110 back in the day. And now here we are, almost double the price. But sound off what you guys think of the Nike Air Max 95 in the Fireberry colorway. So that's gonna do it for today's video on the Nike Air Max 95 in this Fireberry, very loud colorway. Let me know what you guys think. It's definitely thrown me off with that kind of brown midsole. It's really hard to see in the video right here, but I will have an on-foot portion at the end of the video where you'll probably be able to see a bit more on how these look on foot. But sound off in the comments. Do you guys like this pair? Would you pick them up? Would you pass on them? For me, I picked them up. I'm still undecided, but I'm leaning towards keeping them because they are a very premium pair and just a loud pair when you want to throw them on and kind of grab people's attention. You will definitely do that here in the Air Max 95 in the Fireberry colorway. So that's gonna do it for today's video. As always, if you guys could like, comment, and subscribe, that would definitely help the channel a ton. And check out my Instagram over at Sneaker Tech Talk, as it is an extension of my YouTube channel with all my pickups, basketball footage, and nostalgia as a whole. As always, thanks for watching today's video, and until next time, peace.